Today we're going to practice some prenatal yoga. So whether you're in your first trimester or your third trimester, we're going to do our best to modify to make you comfortable and prepare you for labor and delivery. So I have some equipment with me. You can use blankets, pillows, whatever you have available to you. I have a yoga bolster, and this is a flatter bolster compared to a rounder one. I have 2 yoga blankets. Again, you can use blankets or towels. And then I have 2 yoga blocks. Feel free to double up if yours is too thin. They have different ranges, 4 millimeter, 6 millimeter. So the thicker is usually more comfortable, except when you're on your hands and knees. So we're gonna try a couple different positions. You can use your blanket to cushion underneath you. Sometimes I like to lay one blanket underneath my body and then keep the other one as a prop. So really just finding whatever feels comfortable in your body for wherever you are along your pregnancy. So we are going to start on the hands and knees. And so we're really going to focus on pressing through the entire hand. So the fingertips, the knuckles, gaze is going to be straight down between the index fingers or between your thumbs to find a nice neutral neck. And the knees are going to be in line with the hips. So here I can have my toes curled or flat, whatever feels good in my body. If, even with some awareness in the hands, this is a little too much for you, you can come down onto the forearms. Not a big deal. Make sure you're pressing away from the ground, whether you're on your hands or on your forearms. And we're going to start with a gentle cat-cow. So we're going to let the belly drop as we inhale, open the chest, look forward, spread the collarbones apart. And as we exhale, we're going to curl the spine, pulling the belly all the way up towards the sky and release the head down. Again, as we inhale, we drop the belly, look forward, finding length through the front of the belly, length through the front of the body. And as we exhale, we're going to pull up through the spine, rounding the spine, finding length through the back of the body, grounding through the tops of the feet, pressing through our knuckles and our fingertips, or pressing through the forearms. And we're just going to keep moving with our breath. Nice, smooth, deep breaths in and out, just to warm up the spine, the muscles of the torso. So if you're on your hands, or on your forearms, I should say, then the movement is going to be a little bit smaller. If for whatever reason that isn't comfortable, you can also come onto your blocks on your forearms to give you a little bit more space. So we have options here. Now, either on your forearms or on your blocks, we're going to start to shake the hips a little side to side, peeking over past the opposite shoulder, and then just moving through as we breathe and switching to the other side. So with this movement, we want to try to keep the belly engaged. So abdominals are supporting the belly so that we're not just dropping as we move. We're keeping a neutral spine in the front to back plane, which is called the sagittal plane, and we're moving in the side to side plane, which is called the frontal plane. You might notice some popping and cracking. If you're on your forearms, maybe it'll look a little bit more like this. But again, we're not dropping the belly here. We're really pulling up, so nice active abdominals. And then the last movement we're going to perform to warm up the spine is going to be a thread the needle. So you can either reach your arm all the way up or bring your hand behind your head and point your elbow up towards the sky. And then as we exhale, we're going to bring elbow to elbow or thread the arm underneath the supporting arm. We'll go ahead and do 3 of these. Inhaling to reach up, open up the chest, and exhaling to twist. Then we'll release whatever hand you did down, and we'll inhale to reach the opposite arm up. And exhaling. And we'll come back on to the hands, and we'll bring the knees as wide as the yoga mat. Toes will come together just to make room for the belly as we sit back in an extended child's pose. So we can reach the hands up towards the front edge of the mat. You're welcome to bring a block right underneath your forehead if you need a little bit of support. If there's any discomfort in the knees or the hips, we can use one of our blankets. So we can roll our blanket from our kind of starting position to create a little bit more space in the hips here. We can also take that same roll and place it right behind the knees to sit the hips back. And we're just going to breathe here. Breathing into the armpit chest. Breathing into the back of the hips. Relaxing the pelvic floor. Then we'll come all the way back either to sit or on the hands and knees. So whatever feels good in your body. Now we're going to come onto the hands and knees for a moment as we lift the knees up into a downward dog. And you can start to pedal the feet out here. So maybe the hands are a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. And we'll just start to stretch the calves here, pedaling the feet, dropping one heel and finding length through the back of the leg, the hamstring. And again, pedal the feet out. If that's a little too much for your wrists or your hands, we'll come down onto the forearms and we'll bring the knees back in line with the hips and press the chest towards the mat. Sometimes this is called puppy posture. Upper body is working hard here. Abdominals are pulling up towards the spine just to maintain a neutral spine. And we're taking nice deep breaths. This is probably going to feel really nice on your pelvic floor. Again, if you have that awareness, see if you can relax the pelvic floor if you notice any tension here. We'll slowly come all the way back up onto the hands. We'll swing the legs over to one side. And we're going to sit with our knees in a butterfly position. And I like to take my blankets and roll them up. So this time we're going to roll it short length, or short ways. We're going to slide a blanket underneath each knee. You can also use your blocks for this. I just find the blankets more comfortable. So this is called Baddha Konasana. And you don't need the blankets, but if this is comfortable for you, we just want to be nice and comfortable in our bodies. Some people might also like to sit up on a block or a blanket or two, especially if they have a hard time sitting up nice and tall. We're going to take a few breaths here, breathing into the belly, breathing into the chest, especially relaxing the shoulders down. Again, noticing if there's any tension in the pelvic floor, maybe the glutes. You can stay here for as long as you like. I usually like to do at least 3 nice deep breaths. If it's the end of the day, maybe you stay there a little bit longer. And then we'll use our hands to bring our legs back up. We'll bring the feet as wide as the yoga mat. Move our blankets aside. And we'll just bring the palms behind us so that we have a little bit of support here. And we're just going to drop the knees over to one side and kind of windshield wiper the legs. We're going to keep some awareness in both feet, both ankles, the toes. We're getting internal and external rotation in the hip here, maybe massaging the glutes a little bit. Continuing to take nice deep breaths. This is a little too much on your tailbone. You can try sitting on a blanket first, or doubling up on your yoga mat. We'll slowly come all the way onto our hands and knees just to stand up. So you can kind of stand up however works for you. We're going to stretch the arms all the way up as we inhale. Maybe you look up. Exhale, we're just going to take it over to one side, either side, pressing through the opposite foot, grounding through the heel. As we inhale, we'll come all the way back up. And exhale over to the other side, pressing through the foot, pressing through the heel. We'll exhale to reach all the way down towards the mat, coming into a forward fold. So if you need to make your feet a little bit wider than shoulder width apart to give room for your belly, feel free here. We can keep our blocks up towards the short edge of the mat if we need a little bit of support here. So feel free to rest your fingers on your blocks all the way down onto the ground, or you can grab your elbows. But if that feels unstable, especially towards the end of your pregnancy, please keep your fingers on the ground. And we'll bend the knees a little bit, allowing the back to release, finding some length through the back of the legs. Taking the pressure off our pelvic floor, our abdominal organs. And we'll bend the knees and slowly roll up. See if you can roll up through your low back to stack the spine, stack the head, the heart, the pelvis. If you want to challenge yourself, you can bring your feet together, arch to arch, and that might already feel tricky. Find a place in front of you, maybe on your wall or on the ground in front of you, to focus. And notice maybe how you start to sway or wobble. And see if you can focus on where the weight is in your feet. See if you can distribute the weight evenly between the balls of your feet and your heels without gripping the toes. If that feels stable, then we'll practice maybe bringing the hands to the hips and slowly picking one foot up, maybe leaving the toe down, maybe lifting the foot up completely. That's going to challenge the strength of your hip and your balance, of course. And then maybe you try the other side. Feel free to grab onto the side of a chair or a countertop. Our center of gravity changes during pregnancy. So something that might have been simple for you in the past might feel a little tricky. And then when you're done playing, you can bring your feet together or hip width apart again. And we're slowly going to come all the way back down to the ground. Again, however you need to do that. We're going to grab at least one yoga block. We're going to place it on the lowest setting towards the top of the mat. And then we'll grab our yoga bolster if you have one. If not, then you can use 2 or 3 pillows. So if you want a little bit more of an incline, you're welcome to do more than one block. And we're going to sit right at the base of our pillows or our bolster and slowly lower down onto the elbows, releasing the head down. If your low back is comfortable here, you can keep your knees bent. Otherwise, you can bring the legs out long. We'll flip the palms up towards the sky. And we'll take a few breaths here. If you want a little bit more of an opening in the front of the chest, you can bring your arms away from the hips into almost a T position. But we want to make sure the arms stay nice and supported. Again, breathing into the chest. Allowing the rest of the body to relax, to soften, to be supported by the ground underneath you. Out, we'll slide the hands back towards the hips. We'll bring the knees in and we'll slowly turn onto one side, rolling the hips and the shoulders together, pressing up through the elbow and the hand to come to sit. So you're welcome to repeat that little flow and end with your supported Shavasana. If anything doesn't feel good, please feel free to modify, and I'll see you next time.